Engine compartment of a 1970 SS style Chevelle. This particular guy has a very, very special engine in it. It's a 502 fuel injected ramjet GM fuel injection system on it, kind of a tunnel ram system with a fuel injection system. These engines made some serious horsepower. They made, I think, advertised it somewhere right around plus or minus 500, a little over 500. This one appears to have a set of 2 1/4 inch long tube headers on it. A very expensive header system. You'd have to see the way it's configured and the way it goes around the frame, but they are a set of long tube headers. So this thing's making into the 5 somewhere horsepower wise. Which you're going to argue that's not all that much in today's world, but what it does have, because whenever you start out in cubic inches and you're up to 502 cubic inches in this motor, is torque. This thing has enough tire shredding torque to destroy the back tires on this vehicle. So you don't need to peak this thing out to get peak horsepower to do something to the rear tires on this thing. It does it just about from idle up. Again, substantial horsepower in these guys. It does have aluminum heads on it. It's a cast iron block. Has a new aluminum water pump on it, new alternator. Like I said, they appear to be 2 1/4 inch long tube headers. I'm sure that that's what they are. It does have a flex fan on it, solid mounted, no clutch on it. The radiator's gigantic. I've never seen one this big. So most of them are 4-pass aluminum radiators. If this isn't 4-pass, it's probably 5-pass. I don't know, but it's gigantic. The biggest one I've ever seen. Chrome cover over it, which doesn't add a thing horsepower-wise, but it makes it look shiny and nice. Power steering, power disc brakes on it, dual-stage master cylinder. It has a steel cowl induction style hood. It is not an original GM cowl induction hood per se, but it does have a cowl induction style hood system on it. The original equipment type hoses, top and bottom. Washer bottle still intact, new battery, and billet aluminum overflow reservoir bottle for your radiator instead of dumping it right on the ground. The engine compartment on this thing is just as sweet as you'd ever want to have. It has kind of a shiny black finish on the inside of it. The wheel wells themselves and the underhood treatment, just kind of the way it was from GM whenever this car was released. Also, this guy has air conditioning. Someone has fitted a vintage air-type air conditioning system with this vehicle and still retained its original heat to the passenger compartment. So you got heat and air in this vehicle. Core support doesn't ever appear to have been replaced in the car or bent or damaged in any way. The condenser in the front doesn't have any marks whatsoever on it. I don't see anything on this car that's been disrupted. The engine, like I said, is a 502 crate motor from General Motors with the ramjet fuel injection system on it, making substantial horsepower, lightweight aluminum heads, aluminum water pump, tubular exhaust headers. They did everything they could to save weight and make horsepower with this engine, and they accomplished it. Very impressive engine compartment, and an even more impressive engine once you get out there and listen to it, which you will in a few minutes here. Let's look at the rest of it. Hi, Hanksters, Daytona Beach, Florida, and 70 Chevelle. Everybody wants one of these. These are like one of the most desired cars in the muscle car world. 70 SS Chevelle. Okay, fit of the hood. You can see it. It's just as nice as can be. It's about 1/8 of an inch the whole way around. Nice fitment to the fender. Paint on this car that's the high point of this guy. It is absolutely stunning. Stripes are cleared over. There's no fade or shadowing or anything in the metallic in this blue paint. None. Absolutely none. Hood pins on the front holding the hood down, cowl induction style hood with the flapper on it and cowl induction designation on the side of it. There's no dents or marks or scratches or deviations at all on the hood of this vehicle. Absolutely none. Absolute zip. Headlight bezels, just as nice as you'd ever want to find. The grille, SS designation. Probably felt the chip there. No. Just as nice as you'd ever want to find. No chips or marks on the grille itself. Bezels on this side, same as the other side. Bumper fitment. That guy is spot on too. We've been really lucking out with these bumpers. They've been fitting just as sweet as you'd ever want to hope to find. Parking lights in the front. Nice and clean and clear. The lenses are just as sharp as can be. The chrome on the front bumper is absolutely undisrupted, unmarked. There's no dingies or dents whatsoever in it. Nobody's put their feet up on it and scratched the chrome at all. It's in very, very nice condition. The entire front of this car is as nice as you would ever hope to find one. Again, you look at the bezels, they're nice and clean and clear. The chrome around them is just as nice as could be. The bumper fitment is spot on. The paint on the front of this car is a foot deep. Literally, that's what it looks like. It looks like it has so much clear on it and gives it such a depth. And the color just screams at you. It's just absolutely one of the prettiest blues I think I've ever seen. Fantastic front end. Let's look at the rest of the sides here and see what we can find for you. Okay, side of our 70 SS Chevelle. SS 502 designation. Of course, this motor never came in a car. It was a crate motor from General Motors. These were 454s from the factory. This guy is substantially more. Even more than an LS6. It produced considerably more horsepower and tons more torque. It really gets this job moving here. Fender lip, no marks whatsoever. Side marker light as nice as can be. I don't see any marks at all in this paint. Door fitment is very, very nice. So is the hood. Door to the rocker panel is even very, very nice. Okay, trim around the windshield. A little bit of a dingy right here. I don't know what it is. Something tapped against it through the years. Correct wiper arms and blades. You don't see them. They're hiding down in this lip that comes up on the base of the windshield where the column induction hood transitions up onto it. But they are the original wiper arms and blades, style-wise. A dashboard where it goes on to the base of the windshield. Clean and clear. You'd not find one any nicer than this. This is as good as it gets. It's really a nice dashboard. I don't see any cracks or warps or deviations in it. Like I said, the base where the metal part of the dash transitions onto the windshield, just as clean as you'd ever want to find. Correct style mirror for GM 1970 on the door. The roof is a roof. Very, very seldom do we ever find damage on a roof. Dings or marks or anything. I mean, they're about as nice and dent-free and trauma-free as you'd ever want to find. And this thing is like a wet glass coffee table. It's just that deep with paint and that nice of a finish on the car. Absolutely great. Grip rail. A little bit of a dinghy right here. Very, very slight one here. If you look at them in the light, you can see them. You're not going to see them in the video, but I'm telling you they're there. Brand new white whiskers on it, and the fitment is great where the rubber goes onto the metal part, to the painted part of the car. I can't even get my fingernail under it. It's really, really good. You can see the door fitment to the rear glass. Window glass is just as sweet as can be. A little bit of scrape here for something. I don't know if somebody tried to break into this thing through the years or what, but there's a little scratch on the glass there. Door handle, I'm going to say it's the original door handle. Paint on the door is just beautiful, just like it was on the hood and the front fender. And the fitment is just as sweet as can be. A lot of times we have to go back and adjust the doors, adjust the hood, do something, especially Chevelles for some reason on the hood. They don't want to fit quite right. This guy is, somebody spent some time on it. It really fits nicely. Stone chips right here from the front wheels throwing up on the, you can hear front part of the wheel lip molding. Tin sail panel, real nice. Hat I'm going to call it the original hat rack. A little tiny bit of dirt on the edge down here from somebody not cleaning it quite as well as they should through the years, but the hat rack itself, the hat shelf, is just as nice as you'd ever want to find. Someone has sandblasted into the rear light, the rear glass, SS. That's not a decal. They put a stencil over it and hit it with a sandblaster and sandblasted that in. So it's there for keeps. Side marker lamp in the back, just as nice as you'd ever want to find. The door fitment, the hood fitment, side of this car, the paint. I didn't find a single stone chip. We just went over the hood and the side of this car. Paint is absolutely stunning on this vehicle. It's absolutely beautiful. It's a 70 Chevelle, 17-inch polished torque thrust style wheels. I don't know what size the tires are in the back, but they're huge. Smaller ones in the front. Wow, they are huge. They look to be at least an 8-inch, maybe a 10-inch rim on the back. Doesn't matter. This thing will disintegrate them. Side of this car is beautiful. I can't tell you there's one little thing out of place on it. It looks really nice down the sides of it. The paint is just exemplary on it. The hood fitment, the door fitment, the chrome. A couple little tiny marks here and there on the drip rail, but pretty much it. SS on the back. You're going to have to live with that or replace the rear window, one of the two, because it's there for keeps. Side's good, front's good. Let's try the trunk. Okay, rear deck of our 70 Chevelle. And again, you can see the fitment of the rear deck lid is just like the trunk one, just as nice as you'd want. Chevelle by Chevrolet designation. And again, the paint, look at this paint. I'm just totally overwhelmed by the paint on this car. It's just absolutely stunning. Bumper fitment in the back. Just like it was in the front. It's not going to get any better than that. Argent trim around the tail lights on this vehicle. Of course, your backup lights are there. The rubber bumpers, 1970 only. Just as nice as you'd want to find. SS designation. They changed it. Usually this SS is in white, and in the grille area on the sides and in the back they chose to do it in an orange color. Personal preference, I guess. But the rubber bumper itself is very, very nice. Argent around. A little bit of a chip here. Very top of this tail light has a little chip here, a little chip here. You can't really see it, but it's there. Bumper fitment in the back to the rear valance, again, just as nice as can possibly be. Huge exhaust system on this. I haven't been under it yet, but we'll go be here shortly, so we'll determine what it is. But it almost looks like it has a set of 3-inch pipes on it. Big chrome or stainless rolled tip exhaust extensions on it. Really nice straight back end on this car. Very, very nice. One more side. Okay, passenger side. Last side here. Side marker light just the way it should be. Tin, wheel lip molding, stone chips on the front, just like it was on the other side. Trim around the rear window. Both sides just as nice as could possibly be. There's no marks whatsoever in it. Sail panel the same way. Window wipes, whiskers, just as fresh and nice, and the fitment is just exemplary on them. Look at this. I like that. That's totally amazing. It means I don't have to adjust anything on this one. Window fitment, same way. And we try to do these now with the windows up so that we're sure that the windows front and back mate the way they should and you don't have any major leaks or anything. Oh, somebody's replaced the rubber weather seals on this one. There's absolutely no fray or anything, and it's nice and resilient. Drip molding, little dingy. A little kind of bit of a scratch there. Right-hand mirror, great addition. Original door handle. Again, the white whiskers up front here, just as nice as you'd ever want to find. Trim around this side is the same as the other, just as nice as can be. The door to the rocker panel, just as nice. Look at this. Look. Totally amazing. I don't know what this is. I have no idea what the heck that's supposed to be. Wheel lip molding on the front. And we are back where we started again. The fitment of this thing. Usually on Chevelles, we always have to play with the hoods to make them fit, especially these column induction hoods. This guy is just as nice as you're ever going to find one fitting. And also the doors are the same way. The fitment is just exemplary on this vehicle. Just absolutely spot on. Again, the torque thrust polished wheels, disc in the front. I can see what size tire those are. About that wide in the back. Good looking car. The paint, we just went over this entire vehicle. There's no marks or chips or dings or anything. No deviations in the panels. The fitment is just as good as you'll ever find on any 70 Chevelle. We believe it is an SS car without documentation. Starting in '69, Chevrolet didn't designate their SS cars with a 138 code any longer. They were all 136s. So without designation for an SS, you can't really prove it. But there are so many other indicators that show it is. The dashboard, the underpinnings, the suspension, and this guy shows all that, which we'll show you once we're underneath the vehicle. Just as nice a Chevelle as you'll ever find. I have no idea what the color was. It doesn't appear to be a GM color that was released in 1970, but whatever color it is, it's one of the prettiest blues I've ever seen in my life. Just the dramatic effect from the polished torque thrust wheels, tinted glass, column induction hood, black striping, black interior. It's a great looking Chevelle. I haven't driven it yet. We're going to try it real quick here and see what the thing runs like. But just from starting it up and moving it, I can tell that this thing's going to be pretty impressive. It's available here at Hankster's, and we encourage everybody to come down, jump on a bird, take a look at this thing in person. That way you can make your determination whenever you see the car, when you hear it and drive it, and feel it and touch it, and we can put it up on a rack and show it to you. We try to give you as good a walk around as we can on these, and we started originally with about 10-15 minutes. I think we're up to about 40 minutes now for our presentations, and Devin is going crazy trying to edit all this stuff and put everything up on the internet, but we're not trying to hide anything. We're trying to show you everything. Every little tiny thing that I see is good, I point out. But if you watch the videos, you'll also see I point out everything that isn't right too. If there's a mark or if something doesn't fit, if a door needs adjusted, I point it out. And I didn't find much on this car. A couple little tiny marks on the drip rails, and that's about it. Hankster's, Daytona Beach. You really got to take a look at this car. It's a really nice Chevelle, 1970. Okay, 70 Chevelle interior. The correct type basket weave inserts in the seats. They do look like they have the original type material. I'm sure it's been replaced through the years, but it is the correct type material. It does retain its original molded headrests, which are very expensive and hard to find. A dome light that's still functional. The headliner, nice and tight yet. Sun visors, the original sun visors are still in good condition. Day-night mirror. No cracks or marks on the dashboard. Shoulder belts, how about this? It's got shoulder belts on it. And seat belts in the front. I don't see any in the rear. Maybe somebody tucked them in behind a seat. I don't really know, but it definitely has them in the front, and that's the important part. It has an SS-style dashboard in it. The round gauges, instrumentation is SS only. It does not have the bar graph like a Malibu has. That's another indication that it is a real SS car. SS designation on the door panels, just the way it should be. A billet specialties, really neat steering wheel. It's billet aluminum, and it has like a rubber vinyl front part on it where you grab it, but the billet aluminum part has your finger cuts in it, and it's a split tri-spoke design. Really a nice steering wheel. And a horn that works too. It has a trio of gauges, auxiliary gauges underneath the dash, oil pressure amp and temperature gauge, odometer tack. Aftermarket radio, there is a remote control for this radio. When it comes to radios, that's Devin's specialty. I don't even know how to turn them on. So it does have a high-end aftermarket radio in it. The back seat is just as nice as you'd ever want to find. Original door handles in the back yet. Original door handles in the front yet. Discolored just the way they should be for 1970 plastic. They start out clear and they turn yellow with age, and these are that condition. The original, it's got trash trays in the back. Trash tray up front. Has the original molded armrests in the rear. Original molded armrests in the front also. The interior of this car is just as nice as you'd ever want to find. The original 4-speed designated console with this vehicle, with the holders for the seat belts, glove compartment, a nice short Hurst shifter with a Hurst T-handle on it also. Be correct for that era. Everybody had a T-handle Hurst at that time. Glove compartment in the front, of course. This car does have air conditioning also. It's been retrofitted with a vintage air system, and it's just a nice car. I mean, inside of this vehicle is as fresh and clean as you'd ever want to find. Loop-style carpeting in it. It has a set of auxiliary floor mats in it that are loop carpet also to match the carpeting in the vehicle. And here's the key to the whole operation. You can't help but love this 4-speed. Nice interior of this vehicle. It's just as nice and fresh as you'd want. Has a lot of originality to it yet. The door panels, the side panels, the headrests. I'm going to say these have been replaced, but I don't really know for sure. The interior's in really great condition at any rate. All new rubbers and seals around the windows and the doors. Everything's been refurbished. Nice car. It's available here at Hanksters, and we're going to do an undercarriage for you and a drive, and then you're going to have everything you need to make a determination whether to go a little bit further and buy this guy. So it's available here at Hanksters. Okay, let's see what we got here with this guy. We have horn that works, sounds really neat. We have a turn signal left functioning. We have turn signal right functioning as it should. We have wipers that function as they should. Okay, let's see what else we got. We got a tachometer, odometer tach, good tach, functioning just as it should. We have a trio of gauges, auxiliary gauges underneath the dash, oil pressure, temperature just coming up, and the amp gauge charging just as it should. Devin, radio, we have radio, or how's it work? Turn this? Nothing happening. Okay, we got a radio working. All right. Oh, air conditioning. I know this thing has air. Let's see if the air goes by now. Air is not coming on. Probably should turn the fan on. That's why it's not coming on. Now it is. Air blows ice cold. I forgot to turn the fan on. So the air is functioning, blowing nice and cold, just like it should. Okay, let's go for a ride. See how this guy runs. Speedometer functioning as it should. Speedometer going up just like it should, and the clock that works. Look at this. The clock is also working in this guy. So speedometer and the clock. Down the road straight. Good. Straight as an arrow. Oop. Aimed it a little bit up to the right. Going straight as an arrow, still no hands. Let's try brakes, no hands. Straight as an arrow, no hands. To the stop. We're running out of gas. We better get back. runs straight and true. Can't find an issue the way it runs. Absolutely not. Car pulls nice and strong, just like it should. Goes down the road straight as an arrow. You got traffic everywhere because of speedway. There's no way I can really open anything up at this point. It seems like there's traffic everywhere. But you can see from, I just gave it a little squirt back there, and the car runs fine. Pulls like a freight train, just like it should. And everything seems to function in it also. Your gauges are all working as they should. The air blows cold. Even the radio and the clock work, which is an anomaly in any of these old cars to have a clock and a radio that both function. Got an aftermarket pack. Got a real high-grade steering wheel in this guy. Billet wheel in it. Nice car. Really nice car. The paint's beautiful on this thing, and it really has a lot of look to it on the outside. Whenever you see this car out in the sunlight, it really got a great look to it. Got a great sound to it too. We are underneath our 1970 Chevelle SS style car with the 502 ramjet fuel injected big block in it, aluminum head motor. Let's see here. Got a new set of shocks in the front, disc brakes in the front, huge heavy duty sway bar, which designates it actually as an SS car also. I'm going to call an 8.5, possibly a 9-quart oil pan on this guy. Aftermarket, obviously. It has a high torque starter on it, a new one. The headers on this car are a huge set of headers. I'm going to call them 2 1/8 inch. They might even be 2 1/4, but I'm going to call them 2 1/8 inch diameter long tube headers. The one tube going out and around the frame, there's just not enough room to bring tubes this size all down through the same opening. So this guy, whenever he designed it, Hedman headers actually went out around the frame for the one set of tubes. It's a great idea the way they did it. And the tubes do come apart, so you'll be able to take the headers off the car if you had to. Rock Crusher Muncie tranny in this vehicle. Hurst shifter. 3.5 inch collectors. No marks on the framework anywhere on this vehicle. It doesn't look like it's ever had any jack marks or anything, at least not on the front on the square box channels. The C channels going back through the car will definitely have some marks on it. It wouldn't surprise me. It's just common for the Chevelles and Camaros and Chevelles, Oldsmobiles and the Buicks to have that. Just from being jacked up through the years. No leaks on the engine whatsoever. There's no leaks on the side of it. The oil pan, transmission, tail shaft, around the sides of the tranny, there's absolutely nothing. Absolutely zipped. 3-inch primary pipes on this guy. Looks like it has about a 2.5 inch crossover pipe, H pipe, to go ahead and balance out the exhaust pulses on it. Floor pans are in really great condition. I just got dripped on by the condensation out of the exhaust. Anyway, the floor pans on this vehicle are original. They still have a lot of the original sound bender still splattered onto them just the way it was from the factory. Original brake line still intact on this vehicle on the inside of the driver's side section of the frame. The structural supports on the frame are still just as nice and fresh as you'd ever hope to find. There's a braided stainless flex line that comes from the gas tank forward. There's a electric fuel pump here. There's also an electric fuel pump at the fuel cell in the back of this vehicle, which you'll see in a second here. That obviously is not factory. Has a set of Flowmaster long length mufflers on this vehicle to help quiet it down some. Original parking brake assembly still intact and functional. Drive shaft has new U-joints front and back in it. We're halfway through the car, over halfway, and again you can see that the floor pans themselves are just totally undisrupted. Frame section is really nice. There's a jack mark here for where someone bent that section up, which I can straighten out. The same on this one. Just two sections where there's you can see they've jacked it up through the years and bent that one lip up a little bit, which I have a crescent wrench that we can pull those down and they'll be back where they originated. So we're halfway through it and there's absolutely nothing. You can see no leaks on the engine. The oil pan is an aftermarket high volume pan. A huge set of long tube headers on this guy to help it breathe. Rock Crusher M22 Muncie transmission in it. Hurst shifter. Original fuel lines, original parking brake assembly, a nice H-pipe system for the 3-inch pipes that transition into our Flowmaster mufflers, and we're halfway through it, and we're going to show you the other half now. Okay, second part of our 70 SS Chevelle. Again, where we transition from the C channel back to the box channel again. You can see there's no marks whatsoever. F41 sway bar, another indication that this is a real SS car. 12-bolt heavy-duty Chevy rear end, another indication it's a real SS car. It has a set of air adjustable bags for the rear spring suspension in this vehicle, new shocks in the back. The swing arms have been replaced with some real high dollar with Zerk fittings on them for front and back for your pivot points. A set of rectangular tubing, I'm sure they're chrome moly box channel swing arms. Definitely not Chevrolet, it's a very high-end item that they installed on this vehicle. Fin drum brakes in the rear. 3-inch pipes back out of our Flowmaster mufflers. You got a real serious exhaust system on this guy. It does have a fuel cell as opposed to a gas tank in the rear. The pickup has a built-in fuel pump on it, and I'm sure there's a filter incorporated into that also. And a flex line that transitions the whole way up to the front, and an auxiliary pump here. So you have a real nice, substantial fuel delivery system on this vehicle. The floor pans all appear to be original, as is the trunk floor pans, as the floor pans in the vehicle. Original. The drop downs in the quarters, I wish I could see except it's under my eyes. Let me look at this one. They're original too and really nice. This car appears to be pretty much rust free. I don't see anything that's deteriorated in any way. It still retains a lot of its original sound deadener undercoating on it. The floor pans haven't been replaced. You see there's no leaks in the system. A substantial exhaust system on it. A fuel cell as opposed to a tank in it, which really doesn't hurt you one way or the other. Originality, it's not an original thing, but it's also a scale up from an original gas tank. Fantastic undercarriage in this vehicle. Take a look at it. It's on the Hankster's website. I'd love to show it to you in person though. So come on down and we'll show you this car or about 80 other ones that we have in the building. So guaranteed you're going to buy something if you're here.